back to the channel. Have to excuse the voice, I've been a bit rough all week. Yeah, I've been a bit ill all week, but coughing my lungs up and stuff, but I honestly thought I had COVID, but so I took a test, but it came out negative, so that's a good thing. Anyway, we're back up in paradise today. We're going to carry on with the handbrake actuator and see if we can get that sorted out. So I'll spin you around and let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, so we have a set of gears and a pair of cables. Not genuine ones, as you can see, they're first line ones. How good they are, don't know. Cables are cables, got to work, isn't it? Right, let's get on it. Workbench would be nice, but I use the sofa. Right, so let's pull the emergency release. Now, this is the first time I've ever done one of these, so... Teddy boy, I bet you want food, don't you, you fat mess? Huh? Hey, sit down. Sit down. What's the matter? Go sit down. Right, how does that come out of there? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh. Okay, that's one off. Which way am I going? Right. While we've got that like that, I'll do some explaining. You know, I went into a little bit of detail in the last video, but basically, to get the noise that this was making, which was this noise, what happens? The motor spins all this gearbox. The gearbox spins this here, which winds this up this thread. And you can see there, on the end of the thread is the like the bit you use to unscrew it. Well, that's a stop. So when this part goes up against there, that's when you get the screeching noise, because of all the bad adjustment in the shoes, like the levers are seized, or the lining has come off the shoes, or the cables are seized, or something like that. This takes all that abnormalities as adjustment, because it knows what's tight and what's loose, and it adjusts itself accordingly. So if you've got bad adjustment at the back end in the shoes, this is going to come all the way to the end of its stop, and once it hits that, it tightens up. Now there's also another scenario where you'll apply the brake, and because of you've got bad adjustment or whatever that's going on in the shoes area, this comes all the way to the stop and it tightens up. So then when you go to release the brake, it won't release. So you pull the emergency release cable, which then releases the brakes, and off you go. You can do what you were going to do. So then when you go to pull the handbrake switch, it then makes this noise. And that's because it's tightened up against here, and it's trying to relatch itself back into this. But all it's doing is slipping on the plastic gears because this is tightened up against there. So that's basically what's happening. I'm going to shut up now because I got a sore throat. Okay, there's the cables off. So there we go, there's the motor and our gearbox. We'll have that apart now and have a look inside. But just to quickly show you, because now it's easier to see, the motor spins that. So obviously there's a thread, you saw that, there's a thread on the end of the cable. So as that spins, it pulls that in and out. As it pulls that in, it pulls the whole lot together like that. So the emergency release is released at the moment. So this cable is detached, but that will lock back into there with the other cable on this side. And as it pulls like that, it pulls both cables. As you can kind of see out, it's pretty simple. And there's a torque sensor on here. I think that's what that is. And that measures how tight that it's pulling the cables together, so it knows whether the brake is on or not. And obviously if you've got bad adjustment, it will wind that thread all the way to the end because it doesn't feel any resistance. So it'll just keep going until it comes to a stop, and then it starts stripping the gears. Right, let's have a look inside there. Well, I've never had one of these apart, so I don't know what's going to happen when I pull this cover off. It might just launch into orbit in a million bits. Oh no, well, that's not so bad, is it? No, and I didn't even have it in shot when I pulled the cover off, but there you go. So, can we see where it was slipping? No. I was expecting to see some teeth stripped. But no, it looks alright. Well, we'll change them anyway while we're in there. Let's open up our packet of bits to see what we got. So there's our kit, and there's the part number there. DA9223. So we got new cotton reels, rubber cotton reels to hold the actuator to the car, which is nice because they were all broken. New nuts, screws, look like for the actuator cover, and obviously the gears. It's got two chances, isn't it? Either works or it doesn't. Right, so I'm assuming that will just pull over there, which it does. And they just pull off there, right. Okay, so before I so we got, are they separate? No, oh, that's that one. Obviously that one. So we got that one, which goes over the top of there, like so. And then, oh, there's a C-clip holding it together. Okay. Right. So if I put that one on there, I know how it goes now, so I don't get it mixed up. So that one has all this garbage on the top. It's got a spring and a C-clip, right? Let's swap that over. Okay, so I've swapped over the spring and C-clip to the new gear. So in here now, drop that on in there first. Drop that into there. And then that one should, nothing missing over there, is there? Should just push in there. Oh, it just pushes into a bearing. There we are. Well, that's all pretty simple stuff. So I just need to put some grease into it and put the cover back on. Right, now I've just been looking at all these bits and bobs, right? And I can't see where it's been slipping until I looked at this piece. You remember it had the spring and the circlip on top to keep these two together. Right, well that gear there is driven directly off the motor, the bottom gear. The top gear then drives a reduction gear to the cables. So what's going to happen if this goes tight? Like, this here is a protection device. Inside here is teeth that lock together under spring pressure from that spring. So if there's resistance on here and the motor's trying to turn that, what's it going to do? It's going to overcome the spring pressure. That's spinning fast enough, that's the noise you're going to get. So if them gears in there are fine, you probably won't need a gear kit. You would just need to put cables on. I think that there is a protection to stop it from stripping the gears. That's what it looks to me. Why else? Like, why would that gear be joined together solidly and that one not? So, you know, with a spring and a circlips, obviously spring pressure keeping that top one against the bottom one to allow those teeth to engage. But if ever there's a problem, it can slip. There we are. That's what I think that's for. And that is what's making the noise. Because there's no sign of any damage on anything else. So nothing else has been slipping, has it? It's got to have been done inside that. That's my theory. What do you think? Drop a comment, let me know. Right. I still haven't greased all this up because I was just looking at that to see what I could find was making the noise, and yeah, I think I have. Right, so let's find some grease, grease this up, box it back together, Okay, smeared a bit of grease on. Don't need to go overboard with it, just enough to give it a bit of lube. Right, put the cover back on. Oh, come on, was it? Now this gear here was tight going into that bottom bearing. And it seems like it's tight going into the top one as well. If that's what it is, I don't know. I'll come back when it's on. Okay, so I can't get the fucking cover on. And it's starting to piss me off. Basically, this here is too big to go in the bearing. It was tight on that side. But it's even tighter on this end. And the other thing I found, I had to dig it all out because there was all like bad machining plastic, so it wouldn't slide up and down the brass thing in the actuator. But that is shit. Absolute shit quality parts, because that don't go on there. You know, and like you get the old one. Look at that. 60 quid this gear kit is, and it's a load of shit. You see me putting the fucking old one back in the way it's going. Yeah, that just does not fit on there. What awesome quality that is. Right. Of course, now that one is stuck on that one, and I want to put it back on there because I'm putting the old one back in it. Yeah, nothing pisses me off more than shit quality fucking parts. Oh, look at that, it goes straight on now. Fuck's sake, I'm covered in fucking grease. Right, I now need to pull the emergency release. I shouldn't have latched it back together. I need to separate that piece now, so I can get the other cable on. Like that. So that's how the emergency release works. It separates that part from this part. So obviously this is attached to one cable, and that part is attached to the other cable on the other side. Right, so now we need to fit the cable to this one. Right, lift that out. Right, that's that in. Right, so that's that one in. Right, so I've got to now that goes in there. That should slide nicely. Pull that. Right, I can now latch those two together. And now put the cable in this side. Right, this cable needs to be screwed in 5 turns. And it's a It's a left-hand thread as well. So that's anti-clockwise to do up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. And that will now be in its fully service mode position. So we shouldn't have any problems putting the cables onto the shoes. And when it comes to adjusting it up, it all should, fingers crossed, work. Right, just do that up. I'll put some sealant on there. Okay, so we've got some sealant on there. So it's time now to throw the cover on.